Well, hi. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, and this is Morning Coffee. This morning's coffee cup, I dug one out from a road trip that I took. It's been a few years now since I've been down to my cousin's cabin in the North Georgia mountains, and you cannot drive through the South without stopping at Waffle House. There's nothing like a Waffle House, and we don't have them around here in the Midwest. I think that there is one in Missouri. I think I've driven by one that was there. But down, you get a little bit farther south, and they're more common than Starbucks. I mean, they are everywhere, and it's there's something that I really can't explain what my love for Waffle House is. They all smell exactly the same. They smell like a pecan waffle and maple syrup, but I love the place, and it's a must stop for me anytime that I'm on a road trip going back any farther than Missouri. As I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, I got to thinking about podcasts and how I got started in them and some of the different things that I have learned along the way. One of the reasons that I was thinking about this is because I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman over in the central part of the state of Iowa. His name is Jamie Grout, and Jamie has been in the radio industry for 49 years. And I'm going to change the word has to had, because after that long, and after getting inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a DJ, he was fired. It was one of the many, many layoffs that happen in the radio industry. And I personally have been caught up in those before. Just about everybody at some point or another has in their life. And Jamie was let go. And there really wasn't much of a reason for it that they did this. And he started thinking about doing a podcast just to kind of pass the time, to give him something to do. And what happened was he put out a feeler online and said, "Hey, what would you think if I did a podcast?" He got 700 responses. The man is incredibly popular over there in Newton, Iowa. And so he started one. And he started doing all of the same things that he was doing in radio. And since then, he's had, I think, over a dozen sponsors jump on his podcast with him. And this is a different way of doing things, because after I saw the success that he was having, that's when Morning Coffee came into my mind, and the concept of doing that, because I was watching the success that Jamie was having in Newton with his podcast. Now, his is, he puts it out a couple of times a week. He has added a podcast for the community of Grinnell, and he talks with community leaders. He talks with just different folks around town, and they're roughly 15 to 20 minutes. He calls it Out and About with Jamie Grout, which I think is a great name. You can type that into the search bar and get to his website of the same and watch all of his podcasts there. But this is something I think that a lot of radio people can do. I don't know what it is about the radio industry that kind of gets into our blood, but we don't stop. We just kind of keep going back over and over and putting up with the abuse. I know that I did. And eventually I figured out that, I can use my skills in a different way. Doing what I'm doing here, doing the Campfire Conversations podcast, and even helping other businesses and organizations have podcasts of their own, such as Writing Tandem. Vivian Kavam is the host of that podcast, and she talks with entrepreneurs and in all sorts of different avenues and venues in life. And it's a great, great listen. And watch now that she's on YouTube as well. You can find a link to that on my website, leshillsmedia.com. That one is called Writing Tandem. But also, I've been thinking today about talking about the why behind podcasting. A lot of folks think that we all want to be Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is like somebody saying, "I won the lottery, so you should play." Joe Rogan will admit himself that it was just recently, just a few months ago, that he talked about it on one of his episodes. He didn't make a dime off of his podcast for 5 years. He was doing it for 5 years before he started to see any revenue at all. And then eventually he got very good at it. And he is on a level well past anything that I'm capable of. I could not keep a conversation compelling for over 3 hours the way that Joe Rogan can. That's not a skill that I possess. But there is a value besides just how many listeners are you getting and how much can you charge for advertising when you have national ads in there, and how many millions of views can you get on YouTube that translates into hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not what it's about. It's about putting your word out and your message out in a way that is authentic to you. Don't try to do something that is not you, because people can sniff that out pretty quickly. I'm still learning about this way of doing a show while I'm looking into a camera and talking into my microphone. I keep, as you can see, and this happens, you go back before, I keep adjusting this microphone to different places. Usually, here, let me show you what, typically if I'm in radio, this is how it is. And you can hear it, it actually boosts the audio a little bit when I do that. I can hear it differently now in my headphones. Now with video, it should be lower than that. So I should put it down here and it kind of lightens up the sound a little bit. I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to seeing myself on video. I don't like it. I have never liked it. That's why I was in radio and not in television. But at the same time, I have countered the argument when people have talked about how or not liking the sound of their own voice. Oh, I could never talk into a microphone. I just can't stand the sound of my own voice. And what I tell them is, just recently over the past several years, we crossed the number of 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion people walking around the planet. And every single one of them, except you, hears your voice the way you say you don't like it. Everyone else hears it that way. You are the only one that's hearing it the way that you do like it. People ask me, why do I wear headphones? I was just asked this yesterday. Why do I wear headphones when I'm just here talking to myself into a microphone? Most don't wear headphones. It's because it's what I'm used to. And because to me, the only way my voice sounds right is by going through a microphone and back in through headphones. That gives me a comfort level, and that makes it so I am able to do this and can do it a little more smoothly than I would be if I didn't have the headphones on. I could probably learn to do it without, but to me, it's just not that big of a deal. Let's stay with what we know and continue on with that. So anyway, the video part of it is the same with the audio. Everyone sees me and the way that I am right now on this video. That's how all 8 billion people see me if they were all standing in the same room. I don't have this image of myself. I'm still 30 in my head. My hair is not gray. And I don't have the sags and the bags under my eyes that I see now when I light myself up with studio lights. And these just jump right out at me. But guess what? Everyone else sees them. And I just need to get used to that. So that's the part of podcasting that people get nervous about. Oh, I don't want to be on video. I don't want to do audio. Well, everyone sees you that way anyway. So how can you have a podcast where you are talking authentically about for yourself, and how can you translate that into what is best for your business or organization? Podcasting, I believe, is still in its infancy stages. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of what is going to happen with this, because you can reach so many people. This is a little bit longer form, but this can also be taken and shortened, chopped up into little 30-second sound bites, depending on what it is that I may be saying, or if it's your podcast, what you may be saying. We can put script with it. Here, take a look at this. This is off the Hunting Home podcast when Blake Hunter had Elisa Roth on as his guest. They were talking about the Good Neighbor Day that Elisa Roth was conducting through her business, Bloomworks, on the 100 block in downtown Council Bluffs. And by the way, she gave away 20,000 roses that day. Well done. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. But the point is that these video shorts can then be chopped up and shortened down to 30 seconds, can be a minute, can be whatever it is that you want. But, reality is we live in a TikTok world now, and people consume a lot of information on video shorts. Could be reels, could be, whatever the case may be. And it's a way for you to be able to get your message out. How are you connecting with your current clients or your current customers or future clients, or how are they learning about you? This is just another way of doing that. It's really a great form of advertising, and it's a chance for folks to get a little peek in behind the curtain about who you are and some of the things that are important to you. Maybe your business has a lot of things going on in the community, and you are doing some support at an event somewhere. What better way to talk about it and the why behind what you're doing? And also to be able to have guests. That is a real key to what this is. Having guests on your podcast is a way for you to be able to have a very targeted conversation with somebody that's in your industry. Could be even a competitor. We've talked with real estate agents about this, or realtors, that, there's 3,000 realtors in the Omaha, Council Bluffs, Bellevue area. 3,000. And they all can't be in direct competition with each other and just trying to steal each other's business. It wouldn't work that way. So why not cooperate and talk with each other? Or potentially have other people from the industry, but maybe they're doing something different. Maybe it's a mortgage lender. Maybe it's even a termite inspector, or a home inspector, or maybe it's a handyman that can come in and get some of the work done before you put your place up for sale. All of these things these people can be guests on your podcast if you're a real estate agent. And what does a targeted conversation with that person mean to you? It's no different than taking somebody to lunch. Why would you do that? It's because it's a networking opportunity, and you want to have a chance to get to know somebody a little bit better that you're hoping you can exchange business with. They will refer people to you. You can refer people to them. That is a big part of what these podcasts can do. Also, if you are a nonprofit, maybe you have some recipients that you can bring on to be able to tell their story. What better way to let folks know what it is that you're doing than by showcasing some of the folks that are a direct recipient of your services? And these types of things can be disseminated online. We don't need traditional media anymore. I can do things this way. So jumping back to where all of this started with talking about Jamie Grout and he no longer in radio. The conversation that I had with him yesterday, he said if he got a job offered now, he's not sure he'd go back because it's going so well, and he's using all of the same muscles. I'm using all of the same muscles that I used to use. Video's a little different, but it's not that much different. There's a lot of similarities from video just over to plain audio, what I used to do. And my hands move the same way, whether it's a video editor or an audio editor. It's a little bit different, but not completely different. And if it's something that you have an interest in doing or learning a little bit more about, I would love to talk to you about it. And again, you don't have to necessarily use my services in order to produce this podcast. I also offer services to teach you how to do it. I tell you all the platforms that I use. I tell you how I create the video shorts. I tell you how the benefit is we've got a questionnaire now up, a free questionnaire, by the way, that's up on our website, LusHillsMedia.com, that you can go through and fill out to find just what is it that you want your podcast to be. It's going to ask you a lot of questions that maybe you haven't thought about, and can kind of get your mind onto how to structure this podcast, and then give me a call and we can see what we can do from there. I promise I didn't mean for this to sound like a big long advertisement for Lus Hills Media, because it is something that you can do if you have the time. If you don't have the time, but you do see the value and you would like to learn more about it, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com. And we also want to say thank you to some of the great sponsors that we have already on Morning Coffee, and more of them are coming. We're just finalizing a few details to get more sponsors on. It's been a great response. I'm telling you, yesterday I had 4 different messages and a phone call thanking me for doing this podcast. And if you can really call it a podcast, I don't know. I don't really think of Morning Coffee as a podcast, but I suppose that it is. And how they were thanking me for doing this, and they can tell how much I love the community, which I do. I really have a passion for this area that I call home. Starts in Council Bluffs, spreads out past some of the other smaller communities in Pottawatomie County, going south into Mills County, Harrison County, all of the different areas around Southwest Iowa. I think that, my love first started that, I used to work for KMA once upon a time back in the late 90s and into 2000 doing sports for them. And I was all over Southwest Iowa, Northwest Missouri, and Southeast Nebraska, calling ball games and doing play-by-play for KMA back then. And it's one of the special memories that I have for my career. And I think that's where the love first started. And that's when I first realized just how much Southwest Iowans stick together. I don't know of another region anywhere in the country that I have felt that the way that I have felt around Southwest Iowa. So that's where my passion is. And it all starts in the community that I call home in Council Bluffs. It's why that, I support the Chamber of Commerce so much. And it's why I had Jacob Kuhl on last week. Go back and watch that. That's the cool thing about this too, is that the radio, once your show's over, it's over. But with this, you can watch this anytime you want. And if you want to go back and watch one later, you can do that too. So go back last week and watch the interview that I had with Jacob Kuhl, Member Services Director with the Council Bluffs Area Chamber of Commerce. Talks about a lot of things that are coming up with the chamber and some of the different things that they do and why your business should be a part of it. I'm a huge believer in chambers. I think that they are a great way to be able to support the community. So again, thank you to the sponsors that we have so far, AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning, and also Waldstein Plumbing. Travis and his team and Hayden doing a great job with those businesses. And if quality matters and also integrity matters, Travis is the guy to call. And you can get a hold of him. Just click on his website here at airservecouncilbluffs.com or waldsteinplumbing.com. Also, a huge thank you to Cindy Schmader with Service Master Restore by Schmader, one of our newest sponsors that has just come on. Cindy has dedicated her life to making people's lives a little bit better after they've been through some kind of disaster. It could be a fire and you could think everything's a total loss with nothing but smoke damage. And Cindy will come in and say, you know what, I think we got a shot at saving some of this stuff. So let's see whether or not we can get some of these belongings back to you and be able to restore them. So Service Master Restore by Schmader is one of the great sponsors here. The best wrestler, that's George Ivanov. He is one of my favorite people. And I know that when I talked with him on my podcast, which Campfire Conversations, I'm now 56 years old and I wanted to go put on a singlet and hit the mat for the man. And I would have gotten toasted, but still he inspires that in people. And there's a few coaches around that I have experienced that from in my career. One of them is a college coach that I had an opportunity to talk with just as he was retiring. It was the first time I ever got to interview him. He was Ron Skipper, and he was the longtime coach at Central College in Pella, Iowa. Another one, a little bit closer to home that many of you may know of if you are a Southwest Iowa resident, is Gail Hardigan in Trainer. I know that Gail just had a no-nonsense approach, and the success that she had with her teams at Trainer is a testament to just how good of a coach that she was. And another one is my own coach, my high school basketball coach from the 80s, Mark Fletcher, who I understand is having a birthday coming up within the next, what is that, Coach? A couple of months away? I don't know. I saw that there was an event online where folks were invited to come down. He coached in Grant City, Missouri for a long time, and he's still living there. And he was... I learned so much from him, even though I was never that great of a basketball player, but wow, I learned a lot. So all of that to tell you about George Ivanov at The Best Wrestler. So I just get off on tangents here, but some of the other great sponsors include Rick Graybill with Foxco Fabrication. Foxcofab.com is their website. If you need something unique made out of metal, Foxco Fabrication is the one that you want to call. And Just Sue Creative, go to LusHillsMedia.com. Look at the job that she did on my website and how good that looks, how easy it is to read, how it flows. All of that is not me. That's Sue. She did a phenomenal job. So JustSueCreative.com is her website. And you can even look at hers. Hers looks pretty cool, too. So just some of the sponsors helping us out here on Morning Coffee. I want to thank everyone who reached out to me yesterday and was giving me just some wonderful encouragement about this show. Yeah, we're still new. and we're still finding our legs, and we're still figuring out what this is going to look like. I know that I hope to have more people coming on and joining me on the show, and we'll get some more interviews in. I'm been in talks with some folks that haven't talked to since last year when I was still at that other job. But people are starting to reach out to me, and they say, hey, we'd like to talk, and can we get on and get our story out? Yeah, you bet. That's why we're here. And I know that I'm going to be talking with some folks at the Masonic Lodge coming up here in a couple of weeks. And they've invited me down to actually record there. So we're going to do an interview right from the lodge and tell us a little bit about what the Masons are all about and some of the different things that they're doing in the community. That's coming up. So if you have a nonprofit, would like to be on, I'm going to be reaching out to you, but also feel free to reach out to me, toddstuder@gmail.com, and I would love to be able to talk to you. All right, I'm kind of rambling on here this morning. Very grateful once again. Waffle House. We should start a petition and see if we can't get a Waffle House in Council Bluffs. Wouldn't that be great? Would be for me. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning. My name's Todd Studer. Have a great day.